We're real, relatable, and right on time.
Mommy Talk, the champions of parenting. Dr. Pert, Miss Lisa, and Miss April. Real, relatable, and right on time. Mommy Talk provides information for all facets of parenting. Listen and engage as the champions of parenting bring their experience and expertise to the world of parenthood.
Our listeners can expect to receive encouragement and resources that can help them with positive parental engagement. Come talk to us.
Hey, welcome to Mommy Talk. I am here with Willie Burton and Miss Lisa. That's right. Tell me, get it right, all right? She held it down the last episode, the last show, so we really appreciate you for that. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you.
Yeah, her
missed you guys
and
though.
Prevention Man. Yeah,
Yes.
but you had a good show. We got good feedback. You know, people emailed in and said how good the show was and how our listeners are liking how we provide information to help them engage in positive parental engagement. And today we are going to be talking about how parents can support their child who is an athlete. And we have in the studio today Willie Burton, who is a former NBA player.
Willie Burton.
You didn't think that was funny, Willie?
Man, I'm like, I just sit back and let people do their thing, man. You know, I've seen quite a few things in entertainment, and pretty much almost anything you could do won't cease to amaze me. So,
Amen.
Understood. And so just to give our listeners a little bit of history about you, you know, your position, you play forward and guard, and also you were born in Detroit, Michigan, right?
correct.
All right, tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
My upbringing was pretty Detroit. I mean, I had a large family. I had a lot of large older cousins. Very big very big extended family. A lot to do. Highly competitive. And you know, we learned to live life without having all of the things that people will want. I can remember, you know, we used to always point out Corvettes and say, "That's my car. That's my car." Mm-hmm. And you know, the first car that I bought was a Corvette because I pointed at them so much. I say, "One day I'm gonna get one." You know, you set goals. You don't know if it's gonna happen, but you just say you're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how did you get your start in athletics? Were you always a child who was interested in playing sports, or did somebody say, you know what, I see something in you, and they pushed you in that direction?
One thing he just said, though, that I want to point out that a lot of people overlook sometimes, you said something about the values that came from your upbringing, and you all had the real riches. You know, it wasn't financial riches, but you had real riches. So I just wanted to point that out for our listeners. You know, it's not always about money, but, you know, sometimes it's the family values.
Yeah.
I just had to highlight that part. But back to your question, Dr.
Yeah,
Pert.
so I see where you're going with this. Family riches.
Yes.
It's the real riches.
Hello, the village support system. Callers, we want to remind you to call in at 313-837-1340.
Yeah, so back to the question, how did you get your start in playing athletics?
Well, basically back, you know, when we were younger, we didn't have video games up until we were about 10, 11. So basically, we were athletic. We played tag. We did exercises that kids don't necessarily do as much anymore. There's a lot of physical activity, a lot of competing, a lot of swimming. As I said, I come from a family that we were pretty good in athletics as a whole. My grandparents, you know, participated in athletics, and my mom, going back to parents, decided one day to just stick me on the team.
What team?
That was when I was playing baseball with the Yankees.
Understood.
Yeah, she stuck me on the team and started me in athletics. And, you know, Mr. Moore, I wasn't the greatest player in the world because it was my first time playing, you know, organized baseball, fastball. But that started with athletics, and I started to like athletics. It was something that I could escape in and focus on and try to work on getting better. But it goes back to parents. having
Support your
faith.
children.
Yeah, having faith that something in athletics does something good for students and for kids, and you never know what might happen.
Understood. So can you tell the parents out there what is the ideal age for a child to begin playing sports?
The ideal age is as soon as a child wants to play. I mean, literally, you can do kindergarten if you want to, but be a supportive parent, not a parent that's worried about wins and losses. Those things will come. What you'll start to develop in that student is a healthy lifestyle, a lower rate of obesity. They'll start to follow directions more. You can use that playing time and ability to play in games also as a carrot on the stick for kids and students. So, just anytime you feel a need, or if you're having an issue with a kid that you may be having problems or issues with, stick them in athletics. Give them something to drive on, something to focus on. And that may be something missing in them that they can't find out, you can't figure out. But in athletics, until they figure it out, it'll give them something to do.
Great response, and I'm sure the parents out there can benefit from what you just told them. So if you have a parent out there and they're like, they want to involve their child in playing a sports at an early age, do you think the ideal age is 5? Could they possibly start their child in training, or do you think that's kind of too early?
No, you can start your child in training so they can learn the basic skills. What everyone doesn't realize is not every student starts off doing everything well. It just doesn't happen, not even for me. Even in basketball, I can remember when I played for Jake and the Roadrunners in the 7th grade, I was on the B team. I wasn't on the A team, and a lot of my friends were on the A team. But, I want to give a shout out to the Detroit Public Schools and say we've just expanded K through 8 athletics. So it's wide open for you to stick your students in those programs that we have. And the vast majority of our coaches, 70% of our coaches are in the school building. So it's a tie directly into education.
And I have to add, my son, I started him, he was playing at the YMCA. They had a basketball clinic, and he was 3 years old. And again, I'm not athletic, but my son kept talking about basketball, or if he saw basketball, he was always doing the little shooting motion. So that's what made me take him to the basketball clinic. So they do have different things that you can involve your kids in.
And at the Detroit Public School, like for instance, today we had professional development for our coaches, and that included our middle school coaches. So we're trying to raise the bar with qualifications and expectations, experience, and skill set of our coaches so that they can then transfer that to our students.
And that's good because usually the age for, I think my kids, my son's school, I think you have to be in the 6th grade, either the 6th or the 7th grade to play basketball. He's in the K-8. And so that'll be good for someone like him because he's in the 5th grade. He's going to the 5th grade.
Okay, well, in middle school, what'll happen is he'll be separated. What you don't want to put students with students that has either a weight advantage or a serious advantage because that'll discourage students from playing.
Okay.
So what we have is 6th grade has their own athletics, and then 7th and 8th where they can develop a little bit more to encourage them to continue into athletics.
Nice.
Ooh, I'm sitting over here learning a lot because my son just graduated from preschool Christian Grant. Yes, I am so excited, and he's going to kindergarten next year. And so what is, and he does attend DPSCD, what is a sport that he can play?
Well, we have every sport except swimming.
Oh, okay.
So we have basketball, baseball. Even for the younger kids, we do T-ball. So they can get
What's
started.
T-ball?
T-ball is where
T-ball?
Have you ever seen those commercials on TV or those shows on TV where the kid is standing there and it's a little
Pole
holding the ball and they get to hit it because they don't have the hand-eye coordination yet at that age to catch the ball, and pitchers don't have the hand-eye coordination to throw a strike. So T-ball is set up for them just to hit the ball, but they practice fielding and they get the rules of the game.
Okay. Yeah. We have a caller. Hi, caller. Welcome to Mommie Talk.
Hello. This is attorney Robin McCoy with Black Women Lawyers in Michigan.
Hey, Robin. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing well. Yeah, I was calling. I'm actually the vice president of Black Women Lawyers in Michigan, and we are about educating the public about their, different legal issues and their rights. And we're going to be doing an event on July 13th at Biblical Faith Ministries that's in Detroit, and we're going to have a group of lawyers coming in to talk about legal issues. I'll be coming in to talk about what to do when stopped by the police. I work as a educational advocate and a criminal defense attorney, and as a criminal defense attorney, I work with youth. I know you guys were talking about youth and athletes and things like that, and parents and things like that. And so I try to help parents. As an educational advocate, I try to help parents navigate the education system. So I will help parents if they're trying to get their kids enrolled in school, if they need special ed support, or representing them at disciplinary hearings to try to prevent them from getting caught up in the school to prison pipeline.
Okay.
Is there a fee for your organization services?
No, this event is it's going to be it's a free event, and it'll be from 1 to 3 at Biblical Faith Ministry, which is at 20118 Schoolcraft in Detroit, Michigan. And we're going to have a host of attorneys. We're going to have, and it's also, we're one of our co-hosts is the judge, 36th District Judge Austin Garrett. And we're going to have some attorneys that are going to come in and talk about issues as far as dealing with the child welfare system, to try to help people avoid getting caught up in the neglect and abuse system. They're going to be talking about family law. They're going to be talking about bankruptcy. We're going to have a lawyer that's going to talk about housing. Okay. And we just want to make sure, a lot of us attorneys, I've been practicing 17 years, and so what I see is I typically see people coming in or reaching out to me when they're in that crisis mode. And so our mission is to try to do some preventative work to prevent them from dealing with the crisis. And, specifically my what to do when stopped by the police, I've just been tired of seeing situations where young people and adults that get caught up with the police because they don't know the law, they don't know their rights. And like you guys are talking about athletes, and I was an athlete. I remember when I was in school, and
did you play t-ball?
I played basketball, and I did basketball, and I did volleyball, and I did track, I did cross country, and I found that running, I was really good at that. I did a long distance running. But what I see is happening with our youth, particularly black males, they're not given the opportunity to really to grow, because you've got a system that's set up where they're getting caught up. They do dumb stuff, and then the police, they get caught up with the police. The police, they'll have a fight at a school. And like when I was younger, if you got a fight at a school, the school would handle it. But now these days, the school will reach out they'll call the police in there. They have, and
I agree with you on that. I think that's one of the things that the schools do have to do better when
use
they
discretion
have
and try to handle things inside. And I know now with Detroit Public School Community District, that they practice more so in restorative practices. Restorative
sit
practices.
in a circle.
I hate to cut in, but before all of that, it was athletics.
Okay.
She just said herself, she was an athlete. She's a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Impulsive behavior is inherent in humans.
Yep.
The impulsive behavior is good in athletics because it teaches you to be proactive and interactive and reactive in a positive manner.
Right.
It channels a lot of energy. Secondly, athletics reduces individuals going to getting into trouble either with legally. It also reduces teen pregnancy. Athletics is actually should be the channel that we should be sticking our kids in the way we had before, so that to avoid some of these negative pitfalls.
And I definitely agree with you. And my reference to restorative practices was only because of what's going on now, because there isn't a lot of outlets for our children. But I agree with you, Robin. I agree with you, Willie, that kids need an outlet. And definitely we are talking about preventative measures. So
And that's one of the things I want to
think
say
that-
too, that parents out there, you not necessarily, you don't have to let your child choose what their outlet is, because what if it's one of those situations where they're like, well, I just want to stay at home. No, sometimes you have to push your child in a direction and let them stick it out.
If you look at the
and
things
don't
that your
let them
kids are
quit.
doing, sometimes you can kind of tell what they are interested in. If you look at their behavior, my daughter, when she was little, she was flipping and splitting and kicking legs all over the place. And my daughter is a dancer, you know.
Statistics
Yeah, I
also.
was a dancer too.
What school did you go to?
I did African dance. I went to school in, because I grew up in the Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area, so I went to St. Francis and Father Gabriel Richard.
Okay.
I
went to
know
St.
Father
Francis in
Gabriel.
Detroit.
Okay.
I remember him.
Okay. And I think it's.
We were better than Ypsi, though.
We were in Ann Arbor, St. Francis in Ann Arbor, but I think it starts with the parent. Like I had two parents that really, they made sure I had structure and discipline in the home, and then when I went to school, and then my mom, she thought I was a high energy kid, so she had me doing ballet, African dance.
Yes.
I was running. And she was there with me, and that's what I think, that we need more parents to be more engaged with the kids. Make sure that the kids need to be respectful to the parents in the home. They need to be respectful to the teachers. And then when they get on the streets, when they're dealing with the police, they need to be respectful. And that's why I talk about what to do when stopped by the police. Be respectful, be polite. And I know what the kids have said to me, because I've been doing my program for about 5 years. They said, okay, you're talking to us, but are you talking to the police? I've been talking to the police too. It is incumbent on the police to weed out the bad apples out there, because you've seen these incidents in the news. I was just watching that video of the kid in Oklahoma that got shot a couple times by the police. And so that's what motivated me to start doing my educational programming, like educating the youth and people in the public, because kids are not really given the opportunity to be kids like back in the day. And I remember one of my law professors, he was a white guy, Yale Kamazar, and he was talking about how when he was younger, he did stuff and the police would give him a warning and they gave him a chance to grow out of doing stupid stuff. But he said for black males, you don't have that. And that's where there is, like you're talking about athletics, and I see a need, there's definitely a need for more male mentoring. There's a need for more sports so that we can have these kids channel their energy into a positive direction and, have when I was in school.
So, Robin, I'm sorry, I have a question for you. Is there a contact? You guys have a website? Because I see, we all can talk for a long time about some things, some good things, and you sound like you have a wealth of information that parents can benefit from. Is there? Do you all have a website?
Yes, we do. Black Women Lawyers of Michigan has a website, and then we also have a phone number. Let me see.
So parents, if you are listening, please write this number down.
Okay, so for the event, as I said, it's the People's Law School. That's going to be at the Biblical Faith Center, and the number for that, for the location, is 877-324-8429. And it's the website or the email is biblicalfaithministries@yahoo.com. For Black Women Lawyers, we have an email. If you guys want to email us, it's bwlammichigan@gmail.com. If somebody wants to talk to me directly about my program, about what to do when stopped by the police, or about my work as an educational advocate, I can be reached at 877-769-0001. Again, that's 877-769-0001. And as I said, this event is on Saturday the 13th from 1 to 3, and it'll be at 20118 Schoolcraft, Detroit, Michigan. And it's free. We just want people to get the knowledge. I'm tired of seeing people locked up in a jail cell and they're in crisis. I'd rather tell them some
absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely. 1-877-324-8429. Robin, thank you so much for calling, and we are going to post the flyer. I do have the flyer that you sent to me earlier. We're going to post the flyer on our website.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, thank
you. Guys have a blessed evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Are you a champion lawyer?
I strive to be. I definitely. This is my ministry, though, as far as educating the public, making sure that they know their rights. And
let the public know. Say, I am a champion lawyer.
I am a champion lawyer.
Yeah.
All right, Robin,
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you guys be blessed. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
So, Willie Burton, talk to us about the advantages of students participating in athletics.
Well, she just spoke of it. I mean, you're looking at a former athlete that became a lawyer.
Yes.
One of the things it does is it reduces some of the lifestyle choices that adolescents and teenagers make. It gives them direction and focus. Athletics itself, Michigan State study, 72% of corporate executives are former athletes. Athletics teaches you teamwork, perseverance, and if you look at it, let me ask you a question. You were an athlete, correct?
I was.
Were you an athlete also?
I was a dancer and a cheerleader.
Okay,
so
let
yes.
me ask you a question. How much impact did a coach have in influence in making decisions for you? As far as a coach, did you respect your coach?
I respect my coach, and I just want to give him a shout out. Tomlin, he works for DPSCD, and he actually got me my golf scholarship for Alabama State University.
Ed Tomlin was your coach?
Yes, Ed
Wow.
Tomlin was my coach. Yes, and we won all city when we played golf.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how about you?
Well, I'm in contact with, was in contact with both my dance teacher. Denise McGee is at, I believe, Burton International. She teaches dance there. I'm still in contact with her. She was my coach at Durfee Middle School. And Faye Watson was my dance teacher at Cody High School, who passed away maybe 3 years ago. So I kept a relationship with them, and they had a very strong influence on my life as far as dance. I didn't continue on dance in college, but I still dibble and dabble with local adult African dance, for exercise. So, yeah.
So there's the point right there. It validates the influence that a coach has in one's life
Yes.
is lifelong.
Absolutely, because when he got me that scholarship, we all was like, if you're woo, woo, woo.
That's Dr. Perk.
So let me ask you this. So if parents want to, if they want their child to succeed in playing sports, what type of game plan should they have?
Well, first I'd say bring your students to the Detroit Public Schools because we're going nowhere but up.
Yes.
We're really revamping and revitalizing athletics as a whole, retooling it and taking it to the next level. Just to touch base before I answer your question, we've now broken records in all sports that we haven't competed in at the state level before, from boys and girls swimming to regional finalists in volleyball. We're really extending ourselves. I would say what you should do is bring your students to Detroit Public Schools, to our high-quality coaches, will all have their certifications and also have impact on the education. So they'll have an impact on them athletically, personally, and educationally. And this is, to me, there's no disrespect to recreational sports. Recreational sports typically last for a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Seasons.
Yeah, it's athletics as itself, but educational, which is called interscholastic athletics, we try to build lifelong lessons that go on and tie it into education.
Nice.
So talk to us about the NCAA. For our listeners out there who don't know what the NCAA is, let us know.
NCAA is a National Collegiate Athletic Association. It's the second tier for athletes who have the who are gifted enough to move on to the next level, and that's across sports, even some sports that we don't have, where students are able to participate and at a higher level. And sometimes you get scholarships, like Ms. Purr said. You get scholarships for those. But let me ask you a question: which sport gives the most scholarships in college?
Basketball.
What'd you say?
I would have to say, let me think. T-ball.
No. Actually, to be honest with you, it's actually banned. Second question.
Oh.
Which sport do you think leads the NCAA in students not returning to school from their freshman year and making it to their senior year? Which sport do you think?
That's a good question.
Basketball.
No. Actually, let me help you out again. It's soccer.
Wow.
So there's a lot of fallacies about athletics that really aren't reality. The goal here is to get the student athlete to be the number one pick. Businesses hire former student athletes because they have these tangible qualities about them, such as teamwork, leadership, perseverance, working together. You want your business there. So the student athlete already has these traits already developed in them. So typically, when you look at some of the more successful people, they've had a background in some type of athletics or some type of competitive sport or music or dance or something. Something has shaped their character to give them the ability to push through sometimes issues along the way that normal individuals who have not had this experience, they go home.
So, typically you hear students in the school, yes, I want to be a NBA player, I want to play basketball, or they tend to say, I want to be a rapper, they want this glamorous life, which is possible. I feel like, anything is possible. So what advice would you share with a teacher, a parent, if they want if the child has these dreams of becoming a professional athlete, what path should they lead them down?
Well, don't take away their dreams. Allow them to say, okay, you want to be a professional athlete? Okay, you want to be a rapper? You want to be a dancer? Okay, let's go back to the foundation of it. You got to be able to count to get your contracts. You got to be able to read read your contracts. You have to be able to understand everything about what's going on. So then we're going back to the school without you saying, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. Take the information and tie some of the things that you would like for them to do in a positive manner to their dreams, and you'll get a lot further with them.
As an incentive, I agree with that. Because it makes them want to, it would increase their academic performance, because it will make them want to do those things. And a lot of kids, they have, I see kids all the time, they talk about, like Dr. Pert said, about being a rapper or doing certain things, and they're focused only on those things. And it's not to say, have a plan B, but in actuality, it is have a plan B. You do have to focus on your academics. You can't only focus on these things. Even as adults, we have outlets and we have the things that we have to do.
I've done a lot of things. You hit it on a point. I've done a lot of things in athletics. Played with some famous people. I played with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, you can go up and down the list. I've been to the NBA playoffs. I hold NBA records right now. One of my records was just broken again by someone, James Harden, for the Miami Heat. But I still hold NBA records, and I'm into life now. I'm out here. So you have to have something to fall back on at the end of the day. But as I said before, typically when I put it that way to the students, in a room, it gets quiet, because now a room full of students, I can have 150 students in there.
Wow.
Someone else gets talking about school, you got to do this, they looking in the air. Oh, no, I start talking about what they want to do, and I tell them why they need this, and they just stare at me and look, because now that's something that they can hold on to. Now they have a reason.
Yes. Well, today has been an awesome show. It has been, you have given us so much to remember and take down and share with our listeners.
And we learned about T-ball.
Dr. Bird. Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in to Mommie Talk Live. You have just heard from the awesome Willie Burton. I hope you guys were taking notes. Please do not forget to check out the website, www.mommietalk.com. Our first Chicken and Chatting with Champion Parents was a great success. Please look out for the next event on July 13th from 2 to 4, and this will be at Sacred Heart Activities Building. That's on Rivard. It's 1341 Rivard Street. So check out the website. Check us out on social media platforms. All right. You have anything to say, Dr. Pert? T-ball.
That's right. And allow your students or your children to
let them have an outlet.
Indulge in sports.
We all need an outlet.
I would like to thank you guys for having me on your show. And Detroit Public School Community District is welcoming you to put your students in athletics, K through 12.
Yes, bring it.
T-ball.
Thank you for listening to Mommy Talk, the champions of parenting. And remember, you too can be a champion of parenting. Continue to support and love your children. For additional information, you can contact us at info@mommytalk.com or visit our website at www.mommytalk.com. We can also be found via social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mommy Talk Network. Please listen to us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on WCHB Detroit's Gospel Station.
Come talk to us.